Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair. Very inspiring talk. If I could just summarize and clarify some of the points that Mufti Saab made and perhaps add certain aspects to the talk itself. One was the concept of Hijra, or the fact that Mulla Ali al-Qari went to Arabia or to the Haramain. It was a common practice of scholars in that era simply because the elite cultural milieu or scholars of that time were focused around that area. We know from Imam Abu Hanifa's time onwards, scholars would interact from Zuhri's time. But more so, when we look at the Indian subcontinent, we have figures right from Akbar's time. We have Shaykh Abdul Nabi bin Abdul Quddus al-Gangohi onwards, going on to the scholars of Gujarat who were prominent in that area, who had a great deal of exchange, scholarly exchange coming through. One of the points that Mufti Abdur Rahman made about me, myself, researching into Shaykh Ali al-Muttaqi and the relationship between Mulla Ali al-Qari was because of a point which I want to make here today. Mufti Saab mentioned in brief that the Mirqat can be seen and should be read as a revision or proposing some criticism, some sense of criticism or revision to the Fath al-Bari. I personally feel that Mulla Saab makes some very commendable arguments against some of the theories or against some of the arguments that Ibn Hajar has made. But there's a point that I want to make here. There's a few books that have come out and emerged recently that have accused Mulla Saab's prose of being bereft of nur. Ma fi kalamihi min nur. It's a point that's been made. Simply because they see his partisanship biased towards the fuqaha. And in response to this, what I will say is, Mulla Saab has a text called Risala fi Raf'il as-Sababa. Yes, it's about raising the index finger whilst making tashahhud. In this book, it's a risala which hasn't been published, but I have a manuscript copy, Mufti Saab, if you want to work on it. Is this text by al-Kaidani or al-Maidani, the famous Hanafi scholar, who mentions some of the things which are haram to do in salah. And one of them, al-Maidani mentions, is actually lifting the finger in tashahhud, and he goes, رَفْعُ التَّشَهُّدْ كَأَهْلِ الْحَدِيثِ مُحَرَّمٌ عِنْدَ الْأَحْنَافِ. Mulla Saab takes this on as a position, and he refutes it with over 30 hadiths in saying, no, this is proven by the Sunnah and that it is incorrect. Now the point I wanted to make about this risala is, his teacher, Shaykh Ali al-Muttaqi, also has a risala on this, which I also have. And what do you know? All the ahadith that Shaykh Ali al-Muttaqi has produced have been reproduced by Mulla Ali al-Qari. And it's based on this that I was mentioning that it is highly possible, given the fact that Mulla Ali al-Qari was a scribe, that many of the texts that he had scribed were either attributed to him or he simply reproduced a lot of the material that he would scribe and then add his own notes to it. So that's a point here to be made for the brothers who feel or who would like to entertain this sense of criticism that Mulla Saab's texts or his writings are bereft of nur in some way or the other. The fact that he does represent the hadith scholarship to a great degree, and in my opinion brings a great deal of balance to the equilibrium, so to speak. So that's a key point I wanted to make about Mulla Ali al-Qari, to defend the scholar from such subjective and perhaps inane criticism that does seethe forth every now and then. The other point I wanted to make about the text in particular is, as Mufti Saab mentioned, the term, his honorary title, al-Qari, should suffice in demonstrating his erudition as a Quran scholar, as a Quranist. The other point I was mentioning is his forte. When you look at his general bibliography, you can see that he's a scholar of hadith. These both points should at least qualify him as someone who is capable, yes, someone who has the necessary credentials in writing a text like the Fada'il al-Quran. Just the last point again, judging by the audience here, is the text Nurul Ainul Yaqeen, Mufti Sahib, that you mentioned, is actually a summary of Al-Ghazali's Ihya Ulumuddin. I saw a copy of it in the Pir Muhammad Shah Library in Ahmedabad. It was recommended by numerous Sufi scholars of the 10th century, saying that this is perhaps the most formidable summary of the Ihya, and it's one which his own teachers actually recommended, saying that فيه العلم وفيه النور. It's a very important one. Hereby, if he's interested in translating that, it's been recommended by several scholars because it is a very neat, very clean common summary. The copy I saw was in about 800 pages of the full Ihya. Just some points there, alhamdulillah.